Welcome to the Bradlink Podcast, your home for expert wedding planning advice. Today, we're going to give you a little bit of info about what needs to go in your wedding day emergency kit. I have to say, I'm a little disappointed with all of the wedding advice I've seen out there. I just feel like a lot of it really focuses only on the pretty stuff. It's all about how things look, and it completely bypasses really important things like how people feel and how to be organized so you have a smooth event. When I did some research about packing your emergency kit online for your wedding day, I'm not surprised to say that it again was just all about the pretty stuff. It said to pack bobby pins, deodorant, extra hairspray, and tissues. But for the 80% of couples that choose not to hire a wedding planner, you have to manage all of the setup of the event yourself. And let me tell you, your bobby pins and your hairspray won't save you in a setup emergency. Today, I'm going to cover just a few things that you can find on our wedding day emergency kit checklist. And we're going to go over these items in detail. But if you want the full list, you can download it using the link below or find it on thebradlink.com. So let's get started. One of the main things that we always pack in our emergency setup kits is twine. Even if you're not having a rustic wedding, you can find that twine can be super handy. If there's any items that need to be secured or tend to fall, twine can be a really secure knot that can allow it to stay secured. But you might want to cover it up with a ribbon or something else that looks nice if you're having a more elegant wedding. It will hold better than tying something like satin ribbon, though. The next thing we would use to secure something is fishing line, especially if you're trying to hang items with an invisible thread. So if you think to the back of your chairs at a sweetheart table, if it has Mr. and Mrs. signs on it, for example, that's something that I would use fishing line for if we didn't already have really pretty ribbon planned for it. Something else that you can use to secure things is floral wire and floral tape. I've had to use these on site to fix boutonnieres before, and even some of the best florists can have their boutonnieres fall apart. It might not be anything about the florist's work, but more about a little ring bearer that tends to play with the flowers that are pinned on them all day a little bit too much. So having floral wire and tape can help with that. Also, if there's any floral arrangements you need to hang up during the day, having a lot of floral wire is really good for that. Next, for securing things, we're going to talk about masking tape and gaffer's tape. Both of these can be used to tape items to make sure that you don't leave any sort of a residue. But before you assume that that's okay, you need to check with your venue and the contract to make sure that they allow any tape at all. Some venues, especially ones that are in an historic area, might not allow you to tape anything down because sometimes even gaffer's tape can pull up the top layer of paint, flooring, or whatever and damage their property. Next important thing is a sewing kit. I know it seems silly that you're not going to have like a sewing emergency, but that's one of the main things that happens on a wedding day when we have to pull out our emergency kit is that the bustle of a bride's dress breaks because somebody stepped on it or it was incorrectly bustled or she was just moving around so much that the little threads broke. So that can become an issue because it makes it really hard for the bride to move around if half of her dress train is hanging down. But also, I see a lot of sewing issues with bridesmaids' gowns and tuxedos. Again, it's the little guys that tend to have the tuxedos that fall apart the easiest. So if you have a teeny tiny ring bearer, I suggest that you remember a sewing kit. Next is scissors. At least 2 types of scissors are needed. One for heavy duty stuff, maybe like floral stems, and another for really pretty stuff like ribbon so they stay nice and sharp. I always remind people that people steal scissors like nobody's business on a wedding day. So even though I say have 2 types of scissors, it's also going to be really good for you to have multiple pairs if you're doing lots of setup. Next is a black Sharpie and blank note cards. These can be used for instant mini signs if needed. So you could create little tents and put reserved on them. You could put menu choices. Oh, if needed, you could use an out of order sign. Or if you're really specific about where people are supposed to sit during the ceremony, you can write their name on the note card and tape it to their chair. Next is an extension cord, and it's really obvious what an extension cord is for, and I'm just suggest that you have one on site in case you need it. Sometimes there's unexpected things that require an extension cord, but also you want to do your reception layout, check out where all of the outlets are, and make sure that you're not pulling too much power from one outlet. If you happen to do that, for example, say the entire DJ setup is on a surge protector and then also the photo booth is plugged into the same outlet, you could blow a fuse. And that extension cord might save you for little things, but if you blow a fuse, it's definitely going to be obvious. And the final thing that sometimes is forgotten, especially at outdoor weddings, is bug spray and sunscreen. Make sure that you protect yourself throughout the day because you're going to be outside no matter what, whether you have an outdoor wedding or not. You're going to be outside at some point because of the great natural light that's outside. So, bug spray and sunscreen can be really important, especially if you're going to be spending a lot of time in the grass. For our complete wedding day emergency kit, you can download it at thebridlink.com or use the link below. And for more expert wedding planning advice, follow us at The Bride Link.